Camille, belle, la moustache et la capuchon. Sito patanilo, mila takatiki punetika. Sito patanilo, mila takatiki punetika. Sito patanilo, mila takatiki punetika. Sito patanilo, mila takatiki takatiki. Sito patanilo, mila takatiki punetika. Sito patanilo, mila takatiki punetika. Sito patanilo, mila takatiki punetika. Camille, belle, la moustache et la capuchon.
What's going on? This is your man John Fortune, your host of the Frustrated Fan Sports Show. And today, this is going to be the segment of the bad, the worst, and the awful. There was nothing good about this game. The Washington Ragin Tide goes down 30-10 to the Los Angeles Rams. I've been calling them St. Louis. My mom calls them St. Louis. I've been calling them St. Louis. The Los Angeles Rams. So I'm just going to get into it because, it's nothing nice to talk about with this. The bad, starting out, the bad. Definitely the bad was Kyle Allen. There was nothing that was appealing or great about Kyle Allen being in there because he supposedly knew the offense. In fact, to be quite honest, the offense looked better with Dwayne Haskins in it. So that is insane. The fact that you say that Kyle Allen knows the offense, and then all of a sudden, not only did he seem to struggle out there, even with him getting first team reps in practice, it seemed like you could have just went on and went with Dwayne Haskins instead of going with Kyle Allen. Then the fact that he gets knocked out of the game, and the other part of this bag was my nerves with Alex Smith in the game. Don't get me wrong. I have no stake in the game for Alex Smith and stuff like that. But I was cringing every time the offensive line collapsed around him. I was so concerned that this man was going to go out to injury. That is awful. The fact that me, as a fan, as a watcher of the game, is cringing every time the damn line collapsed around him. I'm sitting there and it's hard to even pay attention to the game because you were so concerned about the possibility of Alex Smith getting hurt in a Washington uniform again. Why? Why would you do that? That was just bad. So to me, to be quite honest, the bad was the decision to bench Dwayne Haskins. The other part of the bad, I hope this Jason Lock-and-Ford report is not true. I honestly hope it's not true because if you're talking about next year, just next year, Alex Smith will not be here next year because he costs too much against the cap. Then you're talking about the possibility of not having Dwayne Haskins either. So guess what? We will be going into a season with Kyle Allen as the possible starter. Is that really what we want here? Is that really what we want here? Don't get me wrong. I'm mad at Dwayne too, but it's been reports that said that he may possibly have COVID. And I told y'all in my season prediction show, there was going to be a lot of lies that was told about who had COVID and things like that. And then as week 5 rolled around, then all of a sudden they were going to understand and be honest about everything. We've seen a massive COVID outbreak, even to a point where the Patriots and Denver game that was supposed to be played today had to be postponed. But again, the bad is still the fact. But I digress a little bit, but the bad was still the fact that at the end of the day, the offense still looked just as lethargic and everything, or it looked practically, in fact, it actually looked better with Dwayne Haskins than it did with Kyle Allen. Don't get me wrong, Alex Smith, he had to contend with the rain, I guess. But still, that man should not be in that game. Because again, it was very cringeworthy to see him every time the pocket collapsed. That was bad. That was very, very bad. The next one is my worst. The defense. We can sit all this time. We've been praising this defense. We've been praising this defensive line. We've been praising the defense. Jack Del Rio, everything of that such nature. This is the 4th game in a row. 4 games in a row that they've given up 30 plus points. 30 plus points in 4 straight games. They've given up almost 1,000 yards in those 4 games. Almost 1,000 yards. People, this is a disaster. This is starting to feel like a disaster. And what happened to the... See, and this is why you don't try to go out there and say, we're going to contend for the NFC East. Why? Why? Say we make the playoffs. What are we going to do then? Other than get basically blown out by Seattle or, hell, San Francisco or somebody who's basically far superior to us. I mean, is that really what we want to see? The fact that we make the playoffs at 6-10 or 7-9? Is that really what we want to see? Get out of here, man. The defense is bad. It's very bad. It's been very, very bad. Not only that, Troy Apke still is starting. Yet and still, you were so quick to bench Dwayne Haskins, but Troy Apke is still starting. I don't get that. I don't get that. A defense that has given up almost 1,000 yards in 4 games and have given up 30 or more points in 4 straight games. How are you going to have me understand that? I don't get it. I don't get it. And the worst, hands down, is this offensive line. The offensive line has looked the worst it has ever looked this entire season. And everybody was talking about how this was going to look better because Dwayne Haskins was sitting. And it actually looked far worse with Dwayne Haskins sitting. Ain't this an insane little situation? I mean, when you really, really analyze what happened, they gave up far more sacks. They were, all the pressure was coming on into them. When did we see the ball go down the field? When did we see the ball go down the field? Who do we blame here? Do we blame Scott Turner for his poor play calling? Because what he did today was definitely poor play calling, especially when the talk was about the fact that Dwayne Haskins didn't know the play. Didn't know the playbook as well as he did. Didn't know the offense as well as he did. Yet and still, the 2 guys that came in and replaced him didn't play any better. Did not play any better. I hope in my heart of hearts that Ron Rivera isn't doing the exact same thing Jay Gruden's ass did and let his ego get in the goddamn way. Because we're talking about something that was a clear disaster. I will say the rain may be the only good because it helped us out, because in reality, this game probably would have been far worse if it wasn't for the rain. The rain was the best defense for us. The rain. Because you're talking about prior to the rain really getting any harder, we was already down, 20? We was down 20-7. Oh, we was down 20-7. Come on, y'all. Come on. All this talk all week about, Kyle Allen knows the offense. Alex Smith knows the offense. Don't get me wrong. Alex Smith may be rusty. I'll give him that. But again, this offense didn't look no different. Like I said, the offense actually looks better with Dwayne Haskins in it. It actually looked better with Dwayne Haskins in it. This line looked better with Dwayne Haskins as the quarterback. So what does that tell you? What does that tell you? It's not Dwayne. It wasn't Dwayne. And I hope that Ron Rivera's ego has been checked in this game. Because I really honestly do feel that his ego had got in the way with him making the decision to bench Dwayne Haskins. And I'm going to tell y'all, I was one of the people that I said it. I felt he had a bad game in Cleveland. Fought him for the Cleveland game. But guess what? He also wasn't on the defense to give up 34 points in that game. He wasn't on the defense to give up 31 points. 30 points to the Arizona Cardinals, 31 points to the the Baltimore Ravens and now 30 points to the Rams. Come on, y'all. Come on. This was probably the worst showing we've seen of this team. And we have to be honest. You know, 2 quarterbacks played in this game. Two. This was a disaster. This was an absolute disaster. Because guess what? There's nothing to correct what is going on defense. 4 straight games, 30 plus points given, almost 1,000 yards in 4 games. This is terrible. This is terrible. Y'all really seen my frustration today. Y'all really seen my frustration today. This was a bad game. This was a bad game. And to me, it makes us all, as fans, have to question, is Ron Rivera the right coach for this team? This has been your man, John Fortune, and this has been the Frustrated Fan Sports Show.